What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me on another episode on Hbtv, the show. Just wanted to share with you some of that Tahitian drumming and music because we do have a special guest tonight, which is our main guest on the second segment, TERABOY TEKURIO of Hbtv. So he's going to join us. He's going to talk to us a little bit about, Tahitian culture, the Tahitian music, the instruments that are involved with it, and all that good stuff. So we're going to get to him a little bit, but first we're going to continue with our previous guest at Sage and Maine. I'm going to bring them on or bring her on the Zoom a little bit. So just bear with me as I make this transition here. All right, so help me introduce. I'm going to introduce our first guest. Here we go. Can you hear me, Samantha?
I can hear you.
All right. Well, thank you for being on the show. And again, last episode we had your friend, your partner. My family, as well, Toni Fountain, talking a little bit about her message for at Sage and Maine and other businesses in your industry. So thank you for your time and being with us tonight. This is the first time that we're actually meeting you and seeing you. So if you can, just please give us your 30-second elevator speech of who Samantha is and what Samantha does.
Yeah, of course. Thank you so much for having me. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you. My name is Samantha Alvarado. I go by the Holistic Colorist on Instagram. I've been in the hair industry for about 9 years, and I love my industry. I specialize in holistic hair color, extensions, and coloring services.
Awesome. Well, again, thank you for your time. So, last episode, Toni was talking a little bit about what's going on in your industry, and actually the protests that you and other colleagues of yours and other business owners are going to get into. But yeah, so tell us a little bit about that. What's your message, and what would you like our listeners and viewers to know?
Yeah, so I just want to start off by saying I completely understand the seriousness of COVID. That's why I actually took off the whole first week before COVID actually shut us down. I started seeing, people started to cancel their appointments. I didn't feel safe anymore, so I made the call to completely shut down my books, just to keep everybody safe. And we were so in the dark at that point. So I completely understand the seriousness of COVID-19, and that's kind of where I want to start at. But there's so much more to follow with that, as far as they're now allowing us to work outside, which is great for some people and not great for a lot of people, because not all of our hairstylists have the opportunity to work outside. Some of us, we don't have the space and we can't get permits. Some of us work alongside dumpsters. I mean, it's not sanitary, and it can't work out that way. One of my co-stylists, not Toni, but one of my other friend stylists, she posted a photo the other day of her outside space where she could cut hair, and there's a dumpster and a homeless person. And I feel terrible because we all go through that, and we all see, homeless people, and I have nothing wrong with that, but I can't charge my client my prices for outside hair because I just don't feel like that's not the right thing to do at this time.
Right. So one of the things that are hashtagged in the movement is safer inside and save our salons. So as far as being safer inside, what is proposed with that versus being in the outside?
So being outside, and this is like a story that I have been liking to tell, but imagine you're outside and you're walking down the street and someone is vaping, and you can totally smell the bubblegum vape that they have. So like that, they're far away and you can, it still hits your face and you smell it. That's a really good point that I like to bring up, because if we're all outside and everybody still has masks on, there's still, I should be wearing my mask right now so you can see, but there's still that little gap that you have so you can actually breathe from this corner of your mouth. And I feel like I can't control the outside environment as much as I can on the inside of my salon walls. So the wind may pick up, someone may cough. That's not, and I live in Lakewood. I don't know where you're at specifically, but if I walk outside right now, I can guarantee there's probably 20 people walking their dogs without masks right now. So I can't control the wind not blowing or blowing and picking up that person's cough and bringing it to the corner or to my client's eyes, whatever that may be. So yes, I don't feel safe outside. I don't feel safe with the outside environments. I do feel so much safer within my salon walls where I'm allowed to control that way more. 100%.
I understand that. And again, you're watching HBTV, the show, with your host, Harry Bulgarian, and my first guest here is Samantha. So, well, thank you for that. Thank you for that message. So let's talk a little bit about more what's going on with protests. Give us some information about that. Where can people actually participate? And what day is it going to be?
Okay, so yeah, it's this Tuesday at 2 o'clock. So it's Tuesday the 4th at 2 o'clock outside the Lakewood City Hall. One thing that I want to bring to light is I want everyone to know that we're not just like, we just want to go back to doing hair. Mm-hmm. It's not just a haircut. This is our livelihood. So the option that was given to us was to work outside for dry haircuts only. And I just want to ask everyone the same question. Would you all be wanting to go to work to get a 80% decrease in your pay? So doing the dry haircuts outside, I don't do a lot of haircut only clients. So that's me and a whole lot of other stylists in the industry. We don't just do haircuts. I know very few stylists that only do haircuts and they make a killing, and I'm so happy that this is working for them. But there's a whole lot of stylists out here that don't do just haircuts only, and we can't take that pay cut. We can't do that. We can't pay our mortgages, we can't pay our salon bills, we can't do that with that kind of decrease. However, we were definitely pivoting in the moment when we were allowed to go back into the salons with those guidelines. And those guidelines, I mean, I think everybody already knew them, but with those guidelines, we were already so half capacity. We weren't taking our normal 6 to 8 amount of guests a day because we were catching up with people, and the space in between to sanitize each situation, we were literally cleaning every single thing that was breathed on in the salon. So we were already only doing 2-3 clients a day just to make sure that everything was going to be okay. So as far as that goes, that's I don't see a solution for now until we can actually get back into the salon, other than doing Zoom calls and helping clients cut their hair at home through Zoom.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to ask my wife to help us out so we can get some of this going on here to cut.
I'm more than happy to help you out with that, yes.
That's awesome. Again, you're watching HBTV, the show, with your host, Harry Bulgarian, and Samantha is our special guest from @Sage in Maine. So, Samantha, tell us a little bit more about the protest, what's going on, and who's all involved with that.
So we just want to make sure that everyone knows that we totally know that if we need to stay home, we should stay home. However, if stores such as Home Goods can be open that are non-essential as well, they're open, we should be able to go back to work because we are very high on sanitation, and our training has brought us to sanitation. So protests, as far as the protests, we just want to be heard and make sure that everyone knows the type of standards that salons are held to as far as sanitation and disinfection. It's outside of Lakewood City Hall on Tuesday the 4th at 2 o'clock. And we just want to make sure that people are not thinking it's just a haircut, because it is our livelihood too.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Samantha. Is there anything else you would like to tell the audience moving forward?
Just thank you so much for having me, and give a little love to everybody that you know. That's it.
Absolutely, and that's what we're built here with this show and this platform, HBTV. We're just spreading positive vibes,
Yeah.
one love, one episode at a time. And thank you so much for joining us and giving that message out. And we do wish you much love and success, and hope
Thank
everything
you.
will work out with your salon and all of your colleagues as well, with the businesses out there during this time of the pandemic. So I do have all the information in the video's description. So once this is posted back up to YouTube, viewers can look in the description and click and follow you and the protests as well. So
Yeah,
what
cool.
thank
Thank you so much.
thank you, Samantha. So thank you so much for your time. We do appreciate it, and we will keep tabs on what's going on with you, and also the salon and the protests as well. Thank you very much. You have a good night.
Thank you. You as well.
All right, so that was our guest for the first segment tonight. We're going to have our next guest soon, Tattleboy Tekurio of Hitia Otera. He's going to share with us his journey as a Tahitian musician. I'm going to go ahead and get him on the Zoom in a bit. So just stick with us, hang out. I'll get him on, and as soon as we get him on the Zoom, we'll bring him on live for you guys on this episode. So thank you very much again, HBTV, the show. Your host, Harry Bugarin. I'll see you guys in just a second. All right, everybody. Thank you for waiting. I had a little bit of those technical difficulties there with the audio in the beginning there. But we do have our special guest. He is live and direct out there in Utah. And again, this is TERABOY TEKURIO from Hbtv. He's joining us today to talk a little bit about his journey. So let me get him in. TERABOY, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so much for taking the time to be with us. So really quick, I ask this of all of my guests. Do me a favor and give your 30-second or less elevator speech of who TERABOY is and what he does.
Tattleboy's a lover of music. Been around drumming, teaching drumming specifically, my whole life since I was a baby. And I think we all should be lifelong learners. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's another big part of me is always a student, always growing, always learning.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So going from that, man, I just want to hear about your journey, about your experience going through as a Tahitian musician. Take me back. When did you first start learning how to play the Tahitian instruments? Like, how old were you? Were you like junior high or even before? And where were you at the time?
Oh man, let's see. I've been around my whole life, so I don't remember exactly when it started.
Yeah.
But I do remember seeing some old pictures of me playing like pahu, like this drum right here, like this bass.
Yeah.
And then playing this whakate drum over here. When I was super young, at least old pictures, kind of when I didn't want to do it, but I was kind of forced to as a kid. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's pretty much. I've been around my whole life, so it's kind of something that, probably with every kid that kind of that gets put into something, they don't really like it at first, but then after a while they kind of grow into just a love with it.
No, I dig it.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. Like you're saying you're this kid, right? And everybody on here, probably majority of them who's watching you and probably is gonna watch later, they haven't seen you drum with the Tahitian drumming, and we'll break that down a little bit as the conversation goes on. But as far as like practicing, right? So for me, I don't know a lot of the drummers, worldwide, but what I've seen with you, some of the guys in Hawaii that I had experienced to view and watch and play alongside with, they're awesome. But to me, you guys are like the all-stars of like Tahitian drumming. So to get that, when you were a kid, like what was that practicing like? You're saying you were kind of forced into it. Was that like 2 hours a day, 6 hours a day? And did you even get to play kickball and all that stuff and street football after that? So what was that like?
Let's see. It definitely started like when I was super young. So being able to like that's kind of what I knew. That's the only thing I did. I mean, I played sports. You know what I mean? I was all-star in football. You know what I'm saying? Our school didn't do nothing for any kind of sports. But yeah, no, we did other things. But our main focus, because our family came from like a show background, like my dad and my mom, right?
Okay.
So they came from a show background, so that's kind of how they made that was their bread and butter. You know what I'm saying? So kind of growing up, that was kind of how we were brought up. Always around, always practicing, always doing shows, always drumming. So as far as like how often we would practice, it was a lot, bro. You know what I mean? That it was, it's. I guess the only thing that kind of comes to mind is that like that saying, as far as the successes, and then the like isn't the end destination. It's like a journey. You know what I mean? And you kind of don't understand it, as a kid, kind of going through it. But looking back on it and kind of seeing how many people it affected, whether it's people who had kids who had nothing to do, media, and stuff like that. You may not see that now, but that's something that kind of comes to fruition a little bit later. As far as how many people you actually influence and how many lives you touch on that end.
Yeah, and we can get through that obviously a little bit down the conversation. That's awesome. And I know some of the people that your group has touched, and some of them have been my own family as well, myself, my wife, and my children. But going back to the group, when did that first start for you guys? Were you a part of another group first, or did Hiti Otera just start from there? Like, what is the origins from that?
Yeah. So my dad has always been like a musician, dancer, and back in the day, like in the '70s, stuff like that. A lot of the shows going on, whether that was like overseas or like in Hawaii, California, like they did everything. They danced, they played music, they played the drums. You know what I mean? So kind of my dad kind of was an all around, like a utility knife kind of guy, where he could do everything, anything, And so he's always been, um, he's always been drumming, either taking groups or been a part of groups going places. When they moved to California, him and Mangutuka were actually drumming with Nonosina for a while, and then in '89, if I'm not mistaken, was when he started the group Hita Otera back in Santa Ana, and yeah, back in '89, and from there, I know that we went to a competition out in Costa Mesa. That was back in '89. I don't remember, but I remember seeing pictures and stuff like that. And so it's pretty much my dad kind of always had it with them, you know what I mean, those skill sets, and he's always had it for was able to use it for other groups, other people, and himself too. Right, then in '89, he just kind of decided to kind of make his own put his own footprint out there and his own thing, which was where Hita Otera came in. And not sure if you know the meaning of Hita Otera. Did you know that?
No, go ahead and break that down, please.
Yeah, no, it's it means like the rising of the sun, rising of the stars, and back then he just had like a few dancers like in the early parts of the group, like my sisters, you know what I mean, a couple of neighborhood kids. So it's kind of like raising the next generation of stars, kind of letting them shine, stuff like kind of along that line. And so awesome. That's where the name came from. That's where kind of started off as.
Really cool. Again, you're watching Hbtv, the show with your host Harry Bugarin and my special guest, TERABOY TEKURIO. So, take us back from that time during over the years, right? You guys are out in Orange County. What was the, I guess, Tahitian and Polynesian group environment of that time? I mean, was there a whole bunch of groups back then, or were you guys some of the main ones out there at that time, back in the early 90s, I guess, 89, 90s?
Yeah. There was a few of us. I may be mistaken, but I do know for sure Nonosina was out there. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Tupua, well, back then it was the dad's group, Pizza Noah. Mm-hmm. And us, Uncle Roy came. I think Uncle Roy came a little bit later after us, Lokalani's. But yeah, no, I think definitely it was I think there was a lot of entertainers. You know what I mean? Just not as many groups. Like there's lots of groups now. You know what I mean? Everywhere. And but back then I think there's more entertainers and not necessarily a lot of like different places. But now everyone kind of has their groups and has their own style and stuff like that. So it kind of flourished, a lot up until today.
So yeah, so like for us, my first introduction into Tahitian dance and music was from our family, our group out there in Hawaii, Tahiti Mana, being out there with them, and I'm sure you heard of them as well. And then coming back, when we moved back here, obviously we linked up with Hiti Otera. So that was our first, my first with my daughters, but my wife, shout out to Nonosina, she was involved with that group as well with them and dancing with them. But what I loved about it was, and I just love this in general, is learning about the culture, the history, the language as well. And from our experience over there in Hawaii with Tahiti Mana, that's what they shared with us. That's what they showed. And coming back here with you guys as well with Hiti Otera. So being able to for you guys to share that culture? What does that mean to you, being a Tahitian American and being able to share that with the communities out here?
Oh man, it's a crazy feeling because I think when you have something, you kind of take it for granted. You know what I mean? And so I feel like with the cultures being able to share it, sometimes um, it's a little overwhelming because there's so many people that kind of want to be a part of it or do it or just perpetuate it. In a sense. And so for us, it's always been a big thing. You know what I mean? Again, part of that that quote, the success is, it's the journey. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so and so just being able to like who just do what you're doing and know that someone's always gonna kind of be watching, whether it's taking something good or bad out of it. That's kind of on them. Is I guess is the thing. So for us, we've always been kind of who we are and what we are, and kind of understanding our worth as as Tahitians, as Tahitian Americans, as you said, and just kind of making sure that when we do something, we're representing ourselves. And I think like when I play, you know what I mean. I think people know me or whatever, but I think people kind of see my dad or see that I'm his son.
Yeah.
So whether he's playing or not, like they can kind of I'm kind of representing my name, and I think that's pretty cool because even though he's like a little older, I'm saying last generation, it's still he still kind of has an effect on the culture today through me. You know what I mean? Through my sisters, and same thing with Nonacina, with with their family and their kids, and the stuff that they put out there. And I think it's I think it's a little. I think we don't think about that too much. You know what I'm saying? And I think about the effect that we have on just ourselves, but our ancestors, or our last generation, and coming up on our children. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
people are going to be looking at them, as a next step, whether it's whether it's drumming, dancing, or playing sports, or whatever it is.
For sure. For sure.
Yeah.
And again, you're watching HBTV, the show with my special guest, Tattleboy. So, being with that experience, right? You're born here, and your experiences and connections back in Tahiti, right?
Yeah.
So, how did that kind of form you and like influence you and motivate you as a Tahitian musician on the drums and other instruments that you play?
I think it's super crucial to being able to kind of perpetuating it, because I think all of us, well, myself, right, as a musician, I'm very, I'm let's see, how can I word it? I feel like I'm very traditional, but at the same time, no one's just traditional anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like everyone's kind of, they're influenced by, things have to evolve to get better. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like being able to connect to people in Tahiti, especially the older generation, you know what I'm saying? Like all the younger cats, that's definitely like, that's my crowd, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But the older people definitely kind of have that thing, they've been playing for years, since the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s, you know what I'm saying? So
Right.
being able to kind of connect with them and kind of get a little bit of their knowledge to be able to add to yourself, to make yourself better, a better musician, better person. I think that's super critical, because if we don't kind of keep that little bit of tie to the old school, to the traditional ways, then we kind of lose it and kind of get just lost in the sauce. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
it just gets too much, too far left.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with it, because everyone has their own styles. You know what I'm saying? And for me, that's my style as a Tahitian American. Because I never even thought of myself that until you said it. But it's true. You know what I'm saying? Like it's so true. Like growing up in Santa Ana and coming out here to Utah now. Like I'm very much influenced by this culture, by the American culture, by music that I listen to and stuff like that. And I think all that kind of plays a part into who everyone is individually. You know what I'm saying? Like their
Absolutely.
education, their lifelong, the experiences they have along their whether it's personal, whether it's with their family. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's kind of builds you up to who you are. So
For sure.
yeah, man.
So,
Thank you.
so
Never
really
thought of
quick,
myself as a Teach
do
American.
you have do you have anybody from the old school, like you're just mentioning, connecting with them? You have anybody you want to give a quick shout out to, since we're talking about them?
Man, everybody. Obviously my parents, mom,
Yeah.
dad, Alex, Tanya. Nonocina has always been like part from the family from the beginning. So definitely shouts out to them. Everyone is California as far as Look and Lonnie's group, Uncle Roy down. But as far as like old,
Like from Tahiti, the
yeah,
guys
old
that you connected to.
like
Yeah.
old Tahitian.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. There's a lot. There's a lot, and I don't want to miss anybody. But
Yeah.
I can think on top of my head. Papa Chan, Perti Chan, Papa Siki, T Flair, Alas. Yeah, just a bunch of old drummers that are mad old now.
That's what's up. So again,
But
you're watching.
they got that knowledge. Like if you listen to them play today, they're mad old, but they could play like.
Oh
they can still
yeah.
play. Like, don't test them.
I've seen some of y'all videos, man, and hanging out with them and on YouTube as well. But again, you're watching HBTV, the show with your host Harry Bulgarian and my special guest, Tattleboy Tekuriyo. So let's move on to more of the music and you as a musician. Do me a favor. We got some instruments back there in your background.
Yep.
Go ahead and break down which one is which. What's the name, and what are the sounds and stuff you would play with them.
Yeah. So let's see here. We got I guess on sides here we have the poked play over here, and these are the hand drums. Sounds like that. And again, the poked play is probably one of the older drums. Like I think there's the debate between that and other like nose flutes and stuff like that.
Okay.
These are one of the oldest drums. Nowadays, like this one's made out of PVC pipe, so it's definitely using what we got. This is called our Toriparo, and it's our bass drum that just sounds. This one's very special to us because it was actually made by the late Papa Gerard, who was an OG craftsman, and Ratira, and just knowledge, master knowledge giver every time I spoke to him. We have the Tuetas that originated in Tahiti, not Cook Islands. I'm just playing. Originated Cook Islands. I'm just joking, Cook Islands.
Yeah, Christian, Tattleboy is just joking.
Yeah, I'm just joking. Don't. It definitely came from Cook Islands.
Yeah.
We took it. But this is our Tueta. This is hollowed out in the middle. And we have our Tueta and our Tueta Piti. Piti means like second. So Tueta Piti Pepe, which is a smaller Tueta that just kind of goes on a stand. Like that. And then a Tueta Piti Rima, which means hand. And it's just an even smaller version.
Right.
So we just kind of kept getting smaller with our Tuetas.
Awesome.
Yeah, it makes different sounds, and that's pretty much the reason for that. And then we have our Fakite here. This one's made out of propane tank. So everything obviously original was made out of like wood and stuff like that. But nowadays, American people, nowadays with everything that we have, sorry, not American people, with everything that we have, we just try to utilize what we got. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And so there's a gang of propane tanks, so we use propane tanks.
Awesome.
Then we have our sticks. Ra'aus is what they call for the tuete, the fakute, and the teriparo, and our Tahitian banjo.
Nice.
Yeah.
So do me a favor.
Front.
Do me a favor, Tattleboy.
Yep.
Turn on your original sound, and if you can just play me some sounds on your pahutupai right there. Just do a little beat so our audience can hear it, and just break down what are you playing.
Okay, so I'm gonna play just let's see. I'll play a tamau, which is like the bass beat, and then I'll play the tahape after that, which is kind of the offbeat. It'll be a 4 count. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, man.
Okay, cool. Well, what about can we hit that little bass drum in the back right there just to give us
Yeah,
some sound?
yes, sir. Yeah, and I know you can't see it from there, but this is actually really heavy pahu,
Mm.
and it's actually carved up, so it's real special to us, because nowadays, again, pahus are made like from PVC pipe,
Yeah.
and so this is just like an old school one that we definitely love keeping around. All right.
Awesome.
Yes, sir.
And what about your toade right there? Little beat on that toade.
Yes. Let's do the big one.
Thank you again for that. That was awesome. And you know what? I've tried for many years to try to play that drum of you guys right there, but nah, I'm good, man. I'll stick to the pahu, man. But one day, maybe I'll get on a Zoom with you to get down and break down some of those beats. Again, you're watching HBTV with our special guest, Tattleboy. So that's awesome right there. You got those drums. I'm gonna say that you're a master of all those instruments right there. So do me a favor, like give me like the compare and contrast with mainland drumming and what you see in Tahiti as well. Like what would you say would be like main differences between the two regions?
Honestly, like I don't see much of a difference anymore.
Mm.
Um, there's always gonna be a difference when you're in Tahiti, because I just think the feeling being in Tahiti is just different. Number
Yeah.
one, you know what I mean? Like you're on the island, you're on the motherland, you know what I'm saying? And so I think there's always gonna be like that feeling of a difference. But nowadays, there's lots of great musicians.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? There's lots of great drummers that are getting um, a lot of great musicians in Tahiti that are,
Hmm.
spreading their knowledge here. Whether it's people from here going to Tahiti, or people from here bringing people from Tahiti.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so I think there might I think there probably was more of a difference, or more of a significantly bigger difference back in the day. But now it's kind of, everyone kind of has their teachers, or
Hmm.
their plugs back in Tahiti. And so now I guess the biggest thing, uh, I guess the biggest difference would be the sound, as far
Hmm.
as there's a style, you know what I mean, of playing. And so
Okay.
for me, I love I love playing the beat. My dad always played by himself, so when I got on the Twitter with him, I would always, so he would play what we call tamau.
Okay.
Tamau aratai was kind of the same thing. It's the leads, the bass was the bass of the beat, the bass pay, right? And so my dad would, for the most part, play that, and then I would jump around him, you know, and kind of that's what it was, you know what I'm saying? That's what Tahitian drumming was, you know what I'm saying? Where someone would play this, or on the Twitter, someone would play this, and then someone would play, oh, I'll play, instead of da da da, I'll play da da da,
Yeah.
or instead of da, I'll play da da da, you know what I'm saying? So, um, it wasn't until there's a man named Carlos Tuya who came along and organized the pairs, as far as organizing the parts.
Hmm.
So but the three kind of main topics that people know of are Muoropu Muri. Um, and so that was set forth by Carlos Tuya, where he
Okay.
kind of organized. All right, if you're playing this, to play this style of Muri, you're gonna play this style. If you want to play Ropu, you're gonna play this style. So instead of everyone kind of just moving around, like kind of jumping around each other, everyone has their lanes to stay in. And
Right.
so he kind of organized that. Oh no, he did not kind of. He did organize that. And I guess I guess the biggest thing I would say today is that the main difference is that there's a lot of musicians, a lot of people that want to play Toeta, or that start off playing Toeta, and they kind of want to jump into the fancy stuff of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like the arm movements and playing fast. You know what I'm saying? And to me, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I think everyone has their own style. That if you make it, that's how you made it, and that's what it is. But um, it's along the journey there that you're gonna understand more of what's important to you, not just because you saw it on YouTube or Facebook, just because you understand. All right, if the peje is do 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 do, and you don't know that or can't play that, then it should be like it should be a journey to play that, to be able to play that and then play it faster and faster, then change it up to the parts the top is. You know what I'm saying? Because
Totally.
you know what I mean?
I mean, it's the process,
me,
right? It's the process.
it's a process. It's definitely a process, and you got to kind of take your licks. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta put in your time, and you
Pay your
gotta pay your
dues.
Yeah, you gotta pay your dues, man.
Pay your dues.
And sometimes people can go around it. You know what I mean? And however you get it, you know. But for the most part, if you don't know your basics, it's kind of it's kind of weird to me to be able to kind of build something off of that.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because
that's
your
anything,
foundation's
right?
kind of off. You know what I'm saying?
That's anything, right? Any discipline you do, whatever, it's all about the basics, the fundamentals, and I mean, you guys at the studio with every level. I mean, even especially for the dancers, you guys are doing basics and fundamentals first. In a lot of groups that I've seen that. So awesome, man. Just moving along, right? Just moving along with the music, with the stuff that you do. Are you collaborating with anybody, or have you? And do you do drum competitions and things like that?
So let's see. The last time we've competed was back in 2018, and that was at a competition out in Vegas. Before that, it was 2016, and then 13, and then 11. So it's kind of we've kind of spaced ourselves out. You know what I'm saying, as far as group competitions and drum competitions. But I guess the first time I competed was back in '97. I was about 11, and we've kind of been, for the most part, sort of active, since then. As far as what we want to do, we do have some big plans for the future here for next year. With COVID going on, what I'm saying, like this show. And by the way, you guys are watching Hbtv with your host.
Thanks for the plug, brother. Thanks for the plug.
With COVID, it's kind of made people have to kind of change the way they do things. You know what I'm saying? Like the kind of face-to-face interactions kind of not happening right now.
Yeah.
And so I think some people have kind of taken it hard. Some people kind of figure their way around it, like like you have with the show.
Yeah.
With Zoom classes going on and stuff like that. And there's even like a virtual dance competition. You know what I'm saying? So people are definitely kind of being creative and trying to find ways around this mess. And so for us, we definitely have some plans coming up for next year that I don't know if I can say yet. So I'm gonna say we have some plans for next year with competitions and with my music specifically coming out. And so hopefully during this COVID, everyone can kind of get some sort of influence for something that they want to do, because something kind of keep them busy, because I don't mind, what I'm saying? It's the worst. So definitely something to kind of keep us busy, keep us creating is the number one thing.
Awesome. And just a few more questions before I let you go. Like one of them is like how far do you want to take this, and like what type of plans do you have moving forward as a musician and creating music? Are you looking to get into like a fusion or anything, like doing some, like for me, like I try to create some hip hop beats and things like that? Are you down to like mesh those things together? And if so, let me know, because we can get down. But what type of things are you planning to do like moving forward?
Moving forward, I definitely love to collab. Like I've been kind of speaking with you on the side of things.
Yeah.
I've been kind of learning a few things on the side. And it's definitely a learning curve and learning process to it. But pay your dues on that end. But as far as kind of what I want to do is just influence. You know what I'm saying? Whether that's through the music I put out, or whether that's through me personally teaching someone one-on-one, or class or workshops or Zoom or whatever. That's the only thing. You know what I'm saying? Because Tahitian drumming, this culture has been, is my life. You know what I'm saying? It's definitely been something that I've been around since I was a baby. So anytime we can kind of influence in any way, you know what I mean? Like, we try to take advantage of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because life's all about kind of how we treat others.
Sure.
And hopefully get that reciprocated back to us. But at the same time, kind of understanding that if we kind of help to influence one, at least one person, even if it is just one person, we did the best we could do, or did we do the best we can do? You know what I mean? Did we really take advantage of our time that we had during COVID, or are we just playing video games? Call of Duty, Warzone.
Yeah, Warzone. Yeah. I'll see you out there tonight.
I'll see y'all Warzone,
bro. Our last question, man. Last question before I let you go. Get back to the family and stuff. But like, what would you actually tell like a young, hungry musician that wants to get into Tahitian music and drumming and all that good stuff? What would you actually tell that that young buck trying to get up in the ranks with things and about the journey, like what to expect and what he or she should do?
I think it's kind of like with everything, you know what I'm saying? Like, we shouldn't be afraid of failure. You know what I'm saying? We shouldn't be afraid to, like, oh, this is gonna kind of hitting bumps in the road, because that's how we learn. That's how we, kind of start to grow, is when we're uncomfortable. You know what I mean? And I think that's a big thing, especially with myself. I'm only speaking for myself. You know what I'm saying? With different things. It's like, nah, I don't want to do that because a failure, or whatever excuse that is. You know what I'm saying? And so, once you kind of get rid of that mindset of it, and then you're kind of just ready to learn. And now that you're ready to learn, you got to understand with the failure that's not going to be easy. It's not going to come quick. But you got to be persistent. You know what I mean? With anything that comes easy isn't worth having. You know what I'm saying? And definitely the biggest thing is like patience. Because just like with anything, again, like, you're not going to be great at it at first. You're not going to be good at it even. You might even suck, but it's the truth. Like, you might even suck at it. Yeah. But hey, as you keep doing it, keep practicing, it's just, it gets better and better and better. And pretty soon, man, like, you kind of be able to just kind of flourish at whatever you're doing.
I dig it. Well, Tattleboy, I just want to say thank you very much for your time. Please tell the family we said thank you for having you on the show for the last 45 minutes. We do appreciate it. Blessings to you and your family, and much love. Love to Uncle Alex and Auntie Tanya and all your siblings out there. We love them all. They touched us greatly, and we are, very proud. And we love being a part of the Hbtv family as well. So thank you, brother. It was great to catch up with you. Love to get you back on an episode again and talk more music and projects that you're doing. And if you do that competition next year, would love to hear more about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And so I want to thank you, man, for giving me the opportunity and time to kind of, talk and chat with you and kind of get some positive vibes out there, you know what I mean, like you're saying. So I appreciate you, man. Thank you for this.
Thank you, Tattleboy. Thank you. You have a good night. Tell everybody so we, give them our love and hugs and kisses. Well, I'll see you again, brother. Thank you. Awesome. Hey, I'll be on Warzone tonight, so I'll see you over there. All right? I'll see you, Tattleboy. Thanks a lot, man. All right, so that was our guest, Tahitian Musician, talking about Tahitian music, his drumming, his culture, and just his love and passion for it. So it was great to have him on. Just loved hearing about his journey and what he does. So thank you for sticking with us and tuning in with us to hear about Tahitian Musician. Again, so next week we're going to have another great episode with my man, CEO Gabe Bernard of Nomadic Outpost. He's going to talk about his journey actually from being an athlete and a basketball player and just leaving the basketball court and doing other things in his life and talking about his brand, his clothing brand. So it's going to be a really cool episode. Please tune in for that. That's going to be next Sunday at 6 p.m. Do apologize about the echo tonight and kind of messing up with Tattleboy's posting for when he was going to be on. I know I put on yesterday, but I quickly realized it after he told me. So thank you for tuning in and watching. Always a blessing to have you guys on. Thank you for your time, your eyes, and your ears on this and every week and every episode. So stay blessed, stay safe. Until next time. Check it out. Peace from Hbtv.